This is the minimal Hyperlink setup with Arch Linux. In this video, I will show you how to install Hyperlink on Arch Linux from scratch. Hyperlink is a dynamic tiling Wayland compositor based on WL roots, offering smooth animations, dynamic tiling, and easy configuration. Now this will be a step-by-step tutorial, so make sure to watch the video until the end. For this demonstration, I will be using my HP Pavilion gaming laptop running the Windows 11 operating system. I will use a spare SSD to install Hyperlink on Arch Linux shortly. The only requirement for this video is a USB pen drive to create a bootable USB with Arch Linux. Make sure to back up any important data. Now open your favorite browser and download Arch Linux ISO. Once it's downloaded, proceed to download Rufus. Next, connect your pen drive to the computer and open Rufus. Select your drive, import Arch Linux ISO, leave all the partitions at their default settings, and click on Start to create a bootable USB with Arch Linux. You go ahead and restart your computer. While it's rebooting, you need to enter the BIOS settings. Use the keyboard shortcut based on your motherboard. Now usually it could be F2, F9 or escape key. The first thing to do after entering into BIOS is to enable USB boot. Then change the boot order by setting the USB drive as the primary boot device. Go ahead and disable secure boot, which is very important. Otherwise, Arch Linux may not boot. If you have any option like Microsoft's third-party UEFI, go ahead and enable it. It's also recommended to clear any keys or certificates after disabling the secure boot to avoid installation problems. Once it's done, save the changes. Now your system will boot into Arch Linux from the pen drive. If in case it fails to boot, use the boot menu to load Arch installation media. Now when you see this screen, you can choose the first option to boot into the Arch Linux installer. If the installer falls back to this menu, highlight the first option and press the letter E on your keyboard to enter editor mode. Then locate Linux, go to the end of this line and add an argument called no mode set. Now press F10 to load the kernel with the new argument. Now this will disable the iGPU or NVIDIA GPU and load the installer in safe graphics mode. Now you can see that it has successfully booted into the Arch Linux installation setup. The first thing to do is to check for a stable internet connection. If your computer is connected to the internet via Ethernet, you can use the ping command to check the connection. If your computer has built-in Wi-Fi support, you can use the IWCTL to connect to the internet. To use IWCTL, simply type IWCTL to enter the shell mode. Then type device list to see a list of network interfaces. Look for WLAN 0 and type station WLAN 0 get-networks to see the list of Wi-Fi networks. Now run the command station WLAN 0 connect and enter the name of your Wi-Fi network. Then press the enter key and input the Wi-Fi password. After entering the password, wait for 5 seconds and press enter to connect to the internet. You might not see any output, but if you don't see any errors, you can exit the IWCTL mode. That's it, you have successfully connected to the internet and are ready to proceed with the Arch Linux installation process. Now run the ping command to ensure you are receiving the packets. Now as you can see, I have connected to my computer via SSH. Now type lsblk to see the list of drives connected to the computer. In my case, SDA is the drive where I want to install Arch Linux with Hyperlink. I'm going to format this drive using gdisk. Once it's formatted, run this command to install the Arch Linux keyring package and Arch installer script. Type Arch install to trigger the installer script. Arch install script makes Arch Linux installation process faster and easier. Now use the arrow keys to navigate through the options, then set the system language by selecting your preference. The first three options can be left at their default values. Next, choose the disk configuration, opt for the first option, and select the correct drive where you want to install Arch Linux by pressing either the spacebar or the tab key. You will see an asterisk between the square brackets indicating the drive selection. Then press the Enter key and choose ButterFS as the file system for the installation. If you wish to secure your installation with encryption, you can set an encryption password. Now select the bootloader. You can choose between the systemd or the grub bootloader. I will choose grub. I will leave the swap value set as true and keep the hostname as default. Now after that, set the root password and assign a password for the root user. Then create a new user account. You can even add the new user to the sudoers list for elevator privileges. Now choose to confirm and exit. It's time to install the Hyprland. To do so, select the profile option and then choose desktop and select Hyprland. Next, choose the graphic drivers that you want to install. If you have a dedicated NVIDIA graphics card, choose the proprietary or Nauvoo driver accordingly. AMD users should choose AMD or ATI open source. Then select the audio option and choose the audio server. For best results on most computers, it's recommended to use Pipewire. If you wish, you can also install additional kernels, but for now, I will stick with the default or the latest kernel. In the additional packages section, you can specify a list of tools to be installed separated by spaces. Now after that, configure the network and choose to use the network manager. Finally, select your time zone to set the correct time on your system. Now check all the options have been configured and nothing has been left blank. Once you have confirmed, select the install option and wait for a few minutes for Arch Linux to be fully installed on your computer. Now that's it. With these simple steps, you have successfully installed Arch Linux with the Hyprland desktop. Now once the installation is complete, a prompt for the post-installation steps will appear. Select Yes to enter the chroot environment and start customizing your new Arch Linux installation. Now install useful tools such as Firefox, LibreOffice, Vofi, Thunar, and more. Now when you finish installing, exit the chroot environment and type reboot to restart your computer. After the screen goes black, remove the USB pen drive. Your system will boot into Hyprland. The first thing to do after booting into Hyprland is to connect to Wi-Fi. To do so, open Terminal by pressing Super plus Q. Then type nmcli device Wi-Fi connect followed by your Wi-Fi name. Then type password and enter the Wi-Fi password. Now, as you can see, I have connected to Wi-Fi. Then go ahead and open the Hyprland config file by typing this command and comment on this line to remove the yellow warning. Next, press Super plus R to activate the launcher and open Firefox. Then navigate to this GitHub URL to install an R helper called Paru. Now copy this command and in the terminal press Ctrl plus Shift plus V to paste it. Once it's cloned, enter the directory using cd paru-bin and then execute the command to install Paru. Now after that, copy this code and paste it into the terminal and install the necessary packages. Once the installation is complete, create a directory called backconfig, then navigate to this directory. Now type this command to back up the default configuration files. Once it's done, navigate to the home directory. Now go ahead and proceed to clone my GitHub repository and download the Hyprland configuration files. You will find the pre-configured Hyprland config files. Now execute the following command to replace the default config files. Now return to the home directory and type this command to open the Hyprland configuration file. You can make various changes to this file, such as adjusting keyboard settings within the input section. These are the key bindings I use. And this part of the code allows you to adjust the brightness and volume using the built-in keyboard. To apply these changes, log out by pressing Super plus X. Then log back in and you will see the V bar at the top. Now let's increase the default font of the kitty. Open the kitty or terminal by pressing Super plus T. Type this command to create a configuration file for kitty and add the following line to set the default font size to 22. Now open the Hyperpaper configuration file. I have added these two lines. Now this will load the picture named picture.jpg from your home directory right after logging in, setting it as the wallpaper for the default monitor. You can paste any wallpaper into your home directory and name it as picture.jpg. Now log out and log in back to see the updated wallpaper. That's about it. This is how you install Hyprland on Arch Linux. It's a minimal setup guide that should help you get started with Hyprland. Feel free to check the description for useful links to learn more about Hyprland configuration. Thanks for watching my video. This has been KSK Ryle. I will see you in the next one.